IAmElemental is running their annual Childhood Cancer Awareness campaign. All through the month of September, with the purchase of one Courage action figure, one will also be donated to a child fighting cancer. Courage is a 6.5-inch action figure with 30-plus points of articulation. Molded in durable plastic, she comes with a removable helmet, chest armor, flaming energy sword, and her Courage shield. Order yours today at IAmElemental.com and give one to a child fighting cancer at the same time. Link in the description below. Order yours today and change a child's life. Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. Time of recording, it is Friday evening, so I apologize for how dark this part of the video is. I need a new ring light. But I normally do a video for the the Target Fall Geek out, which is going off every Friday. Today is the penultimate week, and I usually put those videos up the Friday evening that the drops go live at Target. However, also today, time of recording, was HASBRO PulseCon, and there's a lot to go over with that, so I figured I would just wrap everything into one video because there's really not a whole lot to talk about with Target, and then just release it on Saturday. Now, before we get too far into it, full disclosure, when we get to PulseCon, really not going to be talking about a lot. It's not going to be a big deep dive into the entire convention. I'm just really focusing on the G.I.Joe Classified. We'll talk a little bit about Dungeons & Dragons, but really the focus is going to be Classified. So if you're looking for anything for Marvel Legends, Transformers, Power Rangers, which by the way, I really think the Power Rangers fans got shafted this time. If you're looking for anything like that, it's not here. Jay did a pretty good wrap on all of the stuff that's coming out, so check out his video. I'm just going to be really looking at G.I. Joe. Now, starting this off, let's take a look at what happened with Target today, or Friday. It was Funko. And that's another reason why I'm sort of wrapping all of this together, because I don't have much to talk about with Funko Pops. I am not a fan of Funko Pops. I have like 3. 2 from the Breakfast Club and 1 Wonder Woman. And the 2 from the Breakfast Club were gifts. The Wonder Woman was the only one that I bought because it's the kind with the comic backing to it. But let's take a look at what came out on Target. Also, time of recording, I don't believe any of these are sold out. But what we have is a Stranger Things Funko Pop that is Demogorgon. Is that Demogorgon? No, Vecna. Sorry, Vecna. Don't watch Stranger Things. So we have Vecna, which if that's how he looks, cool. What else do we have here? We have 2 for Star Wars, and these are actually kind of cool, that if I collected Funko Pops and I collected Star Wars, these would be pretty cool, that both of them are from Return of the Jedi. One is, let's see, what is this? One is the Nikto figure on the tail of Jabba's skiff. So that looks pretty cool, how like it isn't just a Funko Pop just standing there. There's even a little diorama attached to it. And the other one is also on the skiff, and that is Boba Fett. And he's in mid-flight. This is like when he was launching to go after Han and Chewie when they were all trying to bust out. So the addition of the skiffs is pretty cool. I wonder if you can sort of piece them together so it would make one long skiff. But I also like how there's, in addition to the skiff, you can see there's also like a little bit of a Star Wars stand underneath it. So that's kind of cool. Like, even though I'm not into Funko, I always appreciate when they do stuff like this. And the final one, because there are really only 4, is a Magneto with a comic back. And this is what I was talking about when I said I have the Wonder Woman one, where it sort of has the Perez comic cover in the background. The only thing that is kind of disappointing about these few Funkos whenever they do something like this, hold on, let me pull this up, is that I wish that background was either like the full size of a comic, or what would be really cool, but I know it would raise the price on it a little bit, but it would really be cool if that was like a reprint of the comic. So that one right there, I think, is that supposed to be Magneto's first appearance? Because that's X-Men number 4. That might be his first appearance. Not really sure. Don't really follow Marvel that much. Don't really know that much about the X-Men. DC guy right here. But I do like those comic back figures. I think that's pretty cool. And that's really all there was for Target and for the Funko release. Next week is the final week, and surprise, surprise, it's going to be NECA. I'm willing to bet that there are going to be a lot of Turtles stuff that drops. I wouldn't hate if they did a surprise reveal of something for their Dungeons & Dragons line. Like if they were actually allowed to make figures for the animated series. That would be really cool. Not holding my breath on that. Pretty sure it's going to be Turtles focused. So there's that. So let's jump in to PulseCon. Like I said, I'm not going to be talking much about it. I did watch the whole thing, and there were some things that I thought were pretty cool, even for collections, for lines that I don't collect, like Marvel Legends. I thought they had some pretty cool reveals. One thing I got to say is that I typically turn off the comments whenever I watch these live streams. Every once in a while, I jumped back in to see what people were thinking. Some of y'all got to grow up. You know who you are. Like, I was reading some of those and I was like, are you kidding me? This is your biggest concern. This is your biggest problem. That's just me. But like, there were cool people in the comments too. There were people that were like, had legit comments or legit criticisms of things. But there were also people that it was just like, come on guys, come on. It's toys. It's an online thing. It's a live stream. Just chill. Now, this year they did it all in one day rather than stretching it out over 2 days. I wonder why they chose to do that. It was one 4-hour long event, and they sort of got backed up throughout the day. And the more they got backed up, the more and more it kept getting backed up. I thought Amy and the G.I. Joe team did a really good job. I thought they had probably the strongest presentation. They definitely had the best presentation. I thought Dan Larson, of course, did a really good job. That other guy he was with, I didn't mind him, but I had no idea who he was, to be completely honest. But, like I said, I'm mostly going to be talking about G.I. Joe Classified. Want to talk a little bit about D&D, that I was really hoping there were going to be maybe some more D&D figures for the Hasbro line, especially because the poll they put up, they asked about D&D villains, and your choices were Avenger, Tiamat, and Warduke. I was thinking that might have meant that they were going to have a reveal of maybe some D&D villains. A big Horkin Tiamat would have been really cool, but alas, we got nothing. Nothing as far as figures went. They had books for 5th edition. And while that's cool, Mac doesn't play 5th edition. I do still play D&D, but I really still play 3rd edition, 3.5 actually, and Pathfinder. 4th, didn't do it for me. 5th, wasn't really interested. 3rd edition is just perfectly fine with me. Something else that I mentioned previously was I really feel like the Power Rangers fans kind of got shafted. There wasn't much of a release. There was a 4-pack of Rangers that I thought visually they looked pretty cool, but I'm not sure how important they are to the fandom, because I think they're just a comic line. There was really no live action series going with them. I don't really have my finger on the pulse, no pun intended, of the Power Rangers fandom. I don't know how the fans feel about the comics versus the live action show. They had a trailer for the live action show that I thought was pretty cool. Like, it's definitely come a long way since Mighty Morphin when I watched it. And one other thing was, I was really, really surprised that there really wasn't anything Black Series released. Or, like, they showed 3 figures, but they're not up for pre-order today. Most of the Star Wars, pretty much all of the Star Wars, all of the Star Wars that was released today was the vintage line. Which is cool. Those 3 3/4 Star Wars figures is why we have the action figures that we know today. So it's cool that Star Wars still has a very strong presence in that 3 3/4 line. I'm just surprised there was nothing for Black Series. So, getting into my bread and butter, G.I. Joe. There was a lot. a lot. And there is some stuff that we are just going to speed through the same way that they did. First of all, we had some name-only releases. We had the Night Creepers, which I am very excited about. I've been waiting for the Night Creepers. I love my ninjas. I have the red ninjas, and I have the blue ninjas, and I've been waiting for the Night Creepers. The Night Creepers were so BA. I can't wait to get my hands on them. I have this feeling that they're just going to look so cool. We also have Naugahyde as a name-only release, and that's another Dreadnok, and they said it was going to be Naugahyde and Friend, so obviously he's going to come with his boar, and right now I can't remember what his boar's name was, or if his boar even had a name. I don't remember, but there's another Dreadnok coming out. And a few other name-only releases are, and these are all retro-carded figures, was retro-carded Beachhead, retro-carded Snow Serpents, and retro-carded Eels. Now, there's a few things about this. That the retro-carded Beachhead, I don't know what they're going to do with that, because the Beachhead that we got, I didn't think was that far off from what Beachhead should look like. I thought that was one figure from like the original first couple waves that wasn't too teched up, too high-teched up, that I thought he looked pretty good. The only thing I can think that they're releasing that's retro-carded Beachhead for is because the original Beachhead was a Cobra Island exclusive, and we remember, some of us still have PTSD, of trying to get those Cobra Island figures. And so not everybody was able to get Beachhead, and a lot of people were having to rely on the generosity of third-party sellers. So if they are releasing this retro-carded Beachhead, I feel like that gives everybody a chance to get this figure in their collection, even if they weren't able to get their hands on the Cobra Island. It's the same thing with the Eels. The Eels, I am legitimately surprised that Amazon hasn't restocked those yet. Because, what was it, Kamakura, you can still get him from Amazon, new in box, at the standard retail price. Like, I did not imagine that the Eels would stay sold out the way they are, and I don't understand why they are. But they're going to do a retro-carded series of Eels. I can't imagine how much of a difference there's going to be between these and the ones that they released before. I didn't have the original Eel, so I don't know how different. I don't have a classified eel either, to be completely honest. So I don't know how different the classified eel is compared to the retro figure. But if they come out with these retro carded eels, that'll give people another chance to continue to army build their eels. And then something else that at first I was wondering why they did this, that they're coming out with a retro carded Snow Serpent. And I was like, you just came out with the Snow Serpents. Why would you do a retro carded Snow Serpent? And then it hit me. The retro-carded Snow Serpent was fully decked out, deluxe figure, wolf head, all of the weapons, the snowboard, everything. And that was at the deluxe figure price of, well, what's the deluxe figure price? Hold on, I can't even remember. I think it's like $35. Let me see. Yeah, $35, $34.99. That if they're doing this retro-carded Snow Serpent, it's probably just going to be like the figure, a gun, a backpack, and his snowshoes. And it'll go for probably the standard $25 price point. So it'll give people a chance to army build their Snow Serpents without having to buy an entire army of the deluxe ones. And then like the dude with the wolf head, you can sort of make him like a Snow Serpent officer. I feel really bad for the people that have already invested all of that money into those deluxe Snow Serpents when we have these retro-carded ones coming out. Now, the good thing about the retro-carding that they had talked about is that it's not going to be a Walmart exclusive anymore. I don't think it's going to be any store exclusive. If it's going to be anything exclusive, it'll probably be an online fan channel like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, and of course Hasbro Pulse. But it's not going to be trapped behind the doors of Walmart anymore, which I think we can all agree is a very good thing. Now, something else that they did for name-only reveal was the Cobra Ferret. A vehicle, which is cool. I get why we're getting the Ferret, because we have the Crimson Twins, and now we really have the Crimson Twins, which we'll take a look at in a second. But we're also getting the Cobra Ferret, so that's pretty cool. No prices on any of those name-only reveals. didn't get to see them. Now, one name only reveal that they did have a digital render for is Metalhead. Now, I wasn't a big fan of Metalhead when I was a kid because this was one of those figures, and he still is, that he's just like a walking tank. It's almost like he would have to wear an exosuit for all of the gear that he's carrying. He has his backpack. He has 4 rocket launchers that he wears on himself. 2 on his shoulders off of the backpack, and 2 double launchers on his thighs. That's nuts. Like, even as a child, I was like, this is kind of ridiculous. Didn't bother getting it. There's a couple of cool things about this, though, I have to admit. One, I am so digging that helmet. I love that helmet. But 2, check out his glasses. His glasses have that little crosshair in them. Like, they're not just sunglasses. Those are actually like an onboard targeting system. That's kind of cool. I'm probably still going to get this figure. We know this is going to be a deluxe figure. They told us that, so he's going to be at the $35 price point. But the thing that's really interesting to me, they kept calling him Cobra. But when he was released, he was an Iron Grenadier. He was one of Destro's men. Does this mean Destro's going to be going solo pretty soon? That we're going to start actually doing the Iron Grenadiers? That they figure, hey, we can get another faction in here. We can get more army builders. I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me. They dove right into Python Patrol. They dove right into Night Force. They dove right into Tiger Force. Destro going off on his own would not surprise me at this point. Oh, and then the Crimson Legion too. The Iron Grenadiers would not surprise me at this point. Now, we also had, let me pull these up here. We also had some digital renders, and we got a lot of really cool digital renders. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is Big Boa, okay? I never had him when I was a kid. I kind of wanted him when I was a kid, but I was sort of on my way out of collecting the first time around when he came out. And I liked the idea of the Cobra hand-to-hand combat trainer. And basically the figure that you see is his look, the way he looked. But check it out. They gave him the 90-pound dumbbells, which is cool. But then they also gave him an unmasked head, which he's never had before. And I like how his face is a little mangled up, a little beat up like a boxer. But for me, check out those other hands. The knuckle duster, the bloody knuckles with the wraps around them. Like, that's some Rocky Balboa stuff going on right there. I really like that. That is a really good look to me. Another render only that we got is one that I'm very happy about. Airborne. Airborne looks cool. We know that Airborne is going to be coming out prior to the Dragonfly, so he'll be up for pre-order or order before the Dragonfly even ships, so you can get him ready for when the Dragonfly shows up. I'm definitely going to be buying him for different reasons, not necessarily the Dragonfly. Talk about that when I get him, but Airborne's very important to me. Airborne's very special to me. Can't wait to get that one for the collection. And then we have Quick Kick. Not a ninja, but definitely a martial artist. That Bruce Lee thing going on. Really love the look. He is pretty much an exact replica of the vintage figure, but let's be honest, with a look like that, there's only so much you could do with Quick Kick. The only thing you might be able to do is like get rid of like those loose pants and just give him sort of like tracksuit leggings or something. I don't know, but I really love this look for him. I love the different hands that he comes with, the gripping hands for his weapons. He has the straight swords and he has a pair of nunchucks, which the nunchucks I think are what he came with. I don't remember him coming with straight swords before, so that's an addition. And he has the closed fists and the chopping hands, and that's really cool. 2 face portraits and that backpack. Hope the backpack can hold the weapons somehow. Can't really tell if it can or not. Then we have, of course, the Cobra Techno Viper, which I'm honestly surprised this is a digital render only, because we already know we're getting the Techno Viper with that His Tank Fire Team pack that has gone up for pre-order. So it should have just been an issue of recoloring that mold. And that's pretty much all this is a recoloring of the Fire Team Techno Viper in his classic colors, in the purple. He comes with a pistol, he comes with his backpack, he comes with that weird two-handed welding thing. Never figured out what that was as a kid. Really dug it. Loved the Techno Viper. Loved that helmet, that like sort of like Vader Stormtrooper helmet looking thing that he had. That's really cool. Looking forward to that figure. And then something else that we had for the digital renders only, something that we've actually already seen before. They unveiled him at Comic-Con, Mutt and Junkyard. And here's a better look at what the two of them will come with, the accessories. I love that he has different hands. Mutt has different hands because it's so he can give hand signals to Junkyard. That's cool. I really like that. Something else that he comes with that I'm not really a fan of is he comes with the M16. Now, that M16 or AR, whatever it is, I think it's an M16. He shouldn't have that. The original Mutt and Junkyard, he came with a suppressed MAC-10. And I feel that should be, something like that should be what he's carrying, because the suppression, while it doesn't completely deaden the sound of automatic fire, I feel like the suppressor would work better when you're handling a dog, when you're handling an animal. It would protect their ears, their hearing. I kind of want to get a suppressed MAC-10 now, or a suppressed Uzi for Mutt and Junkyard once we get him, and then give that rifle to somebody else. But everything else that he comes with, look at the heads on Junkyard. Look at the good boy. Look at the good boy. Look at the boy on the job. That's going to be really cool. Love the harness. We talked about that and we saw that at Comic-Con. Really love the handler's harness right there. This is a great 2-pack. This is a great animal and pet set. Really digging this. Can't wait to get that one. Now, some more digital renders we have are more retro Cardback figures. We have Duke, which, if you didn't like the original Duke, I get that. The original Duke that came out, even the reissue, doesn't really bother me. The only thing that I hated was the weapon that he came with. Other than that, I didn't have a problem with the figure. The Duke that we have here is a little too retro for me. I'll still get him. Don't get me wrong. I get all of these things, so I'll still get him and I'll add him to the collection. But if this was the only Duke, I don't think I would be happy with that, because he's, even as a child, I thought Duke was just too bland. Like, everything from the head sculpt to that short blonde hair, like, I don't know, he just looked too bland. Now, something that's cool about him is all the accessories that he comes with. He comes with his classic rifle, just like our Tiger Force Duke has. Oh yeah, that's another thing, the Tiger Force Duke. Forgot about that. And then he also comes with the laser rifle. So there's a lot of accessories right there with him. Once again, that's going to be a retro Cardback figure. Another one that we have is a retro Cardback Recondo, which, sure, why not? Look at that glorious mustache. But past that, I could take it or leave it. I think he looks cool. I'm glad that we're getting him, because I know there were a lot of people that really liked the old Recondo, and we got the Tiger Force Recondo, and I'm pretty sure we have a classified Recondo. I think we do. A standard one. I may even have it. I have forgotten what I have. I'll have to go back and check. Or I have it ordered. But either way, we're getting that one. But the one that I really want to get to, the one that really can't wait to get it. We knew it was coming. We knew she was coming as soon as we saw Glenda for the Dragonfly. Retro Cardback Scarlett. Look at that. That is the Scarlett that I think we've all wanted. And I didn't even have a problem with the original release of Scarlett. I didn't have a problem with the re-release of Scarlett with the black sleeves and the black undershirt, because I feel like the re-release with the black was very much in line with one of the comic versions of Scarlett. I can't remember if it was Devil's Due or IDW or Image, maybe. I think it was Image, the Image version of Scarlett. I didn't have a problem with the figure. The two issues I had was, one, and I think this is problem that everybody had, the face. She just looked way too young. She looked like she should be going to school and Duke should be packing her brown bag lunch. But the other thing that I personally have problem with is that Scarlett, in all of her classified incarnations, has been too short. Whether it's the classified Scarlett or whether it was the Snake Eyes movie Scarlett, they're too short. I'm really hoping this Scarlett is sized up. I don't expect her to be the same size as the guys, but I'm hoping she's a little bit taller. Like, if she was as tall as Baroness, that would be cool. Because I think Baroness is the tallest female figure we have. I have the Valkyrie pack over there right now. I still got to open that up. But I just really want Scarlett to be a little taller. But also, look at the gear. Look at everything she comes with. She has the 4 crossbow bolts. She has a crossbow, a real big Horkin crossbow, not one of those pistol grip things. She comes with an M16. She comes with a laser rifle. She comes with a stand. She has her backpack. She even has, it looks like, interchangeable ponytails. Like, one probably lays flat against her and the other one is sort of like in motion. That's really cool. I normally keep these figures, these Cardback figures, sealed, display them that way. This one, I'm definitely getting 2 of. One to display, one to open up and play with. And if any of these figures, if any of these retro Cardback figures are going to sell out, it's going to be this one, because I feel like this is what we've all been waiting for. 2 more digital renders, or I'm sorry, yeah, 2 more digital renders that they had to show. And these are cool. Especially where I am in my collecting right now, I really appreciate these. That next year is the 60th anniversary of G.I. Joe as a brand. And if you saw my video from when I went to RetroCon, I've started going back and getting some of the 12-inch Joes, where it was basically just a 12-inch soldier figure. Didn't necessarily have a name. They were just dressed up like military, members of the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and then your specialists. For their 60th anniversary, they're kind of going back to that, in that they're doing classified versions of those just armed forces figures. We have a soldier and we have a sailor, which the sailor you can see is basically a reuse of a lot of stuff of Torpedo. He has some new kit as well, but you can also see that he even has like the ammo satchel or the charge satchel from the retro Cardback Snake Eyes. And I just think these are really cool. I think these are a really nice touch. I think these are a great way to celebrate the 60th anniversary. It kind of is a throwback to those 12-inch line, but also keeping it in the classified line. Also, these give you a great chance for army building, or if you don't want to army build them, look at all the accessories they come with. Look at those, especially this one, Ma Deuce. Guess who's getting that? Like, I think these are really great. I think this is a great, great homage to the origins of G.I. Joe in an updated version. I know there are some people that have mentioned that they think they're going for Valaverse with this, and I'm not saying there's not some truth to that, but I also kind of think that they would have come up with something like this even if Valaverse wasn't in the picture, to be completely honest, because this is like quintessential G.I. Joe right here. This is like, this is a total throwback to its origins with the modern look. And I think these, I really like these. As somebody who has family that served in the military, I didn't, I was the black sheep. But as somebody who has family that served in the military, I think these are like a really cool touch. Now, let's get on to the stuff that actually went up for pre-order today. So what we have is, okay, so first in the standard line, on the Cobra side of things, we have 2 Dreadnoks, Buzzer and Ripper. And wouldn't you know it, these were the first 2 Dreadnoks I had. So I'm actually really excited about this. Ripper was actually my first Dreadnok. Buzzer was my second. And these guys look great. The only thing I wish that was different was that Buzzer, instead of like the standard chainsaw, he actually had like the rifle chainsaw that he had in the vintage line. But just having that big diamond bladed chainsaw is totally cool, along with this like this accessory with the baseball bat with the saw blades on either side, basically making like this just medieval looking battle axe. That's just gnarly. I really dig that. So these Dreadnoks have been a long time coming. We've been waiting for them, and the fact that we finally get them, I really dig. Their sunglasses come off, They made it a point to say that Buzzer's watch comes off too, so that's kind of cool. I'm real excited about these Dreadnoks. I'm real excited about getting Ripper, because quite honestly, if you take a look at Ripper, never mind the jaws of life, that rifle he comes with is just awesome. I love his rifle with that big exaggerated bayonet coming off of it. I think that whole thing is cool. So, what do we have next? In addition to the Dreadnoks on the G.I. Joe side is going to be a new figure to the line. I don't think she ever had a figure in any of the lines before. We have Helix. I think she is a comic-only figure. She's also a martial artist. I don't know much about her other than what I read in like the final days of IDW's line. I missed a lot of her in the early days of IDW, but from what I understand, she like basically uses like mathematics when she's engaged in combat. So I really like the look of her. I really like the accessories that she comes with. 2 katana, and then 2 like just bladed spikes that come off of her wrists. They did say that those will come off and they can be put onto other figures. If you're going to put it on somebody with a bigger wrist diameter, they're going to have to stretch a little bit, but just a lot to do with her, like very unique. Love her look. Another one that we're getting that I'm very excited about because I always loved him was Shockwave. I think we talked about Shockwave earlier. He looks like a total BA. I love the Riot Shield. I love the twin Mac 10s. Ooh, maybe I'll give one of those Mac 10s to Mutt. We'll have to wait and see. He has the nightstick, just everything. Like the only thing that he has that I don't remember Shockwave having is the Riot Shield. I'm pretty sure he didn't have the Riot Shield in Classified, but I love his whole SWAT look. I love his color, love his design. Was always a big fan of his. And then another one that we have, one that we all knew, we've been talking about it since San Diego Comic-Con. We've been talking about it since the Dragonfly, General Hawk. All of these figures, well, let's not just gloss over General Hawk. Hawk comes with a few accessories. It seems like he comes with 2 of everything. He comes with a combat shotgun and he comes with a grenade launcher. I really feel like he should have been one that comes with like an M16. That's just me. Comes with 2 pistols. Looks like one might be a 1911 and the other one a SIG. I'm not entirely sure. Or Beretta maybe. And then he has 2 sets of goggles. And I was curious about that, but the only thing I can think is that because those bands are plastic and they'll stretch and they'll break, I'm thinking one set of goggles might go around his eyes, like might actually fit around his head, and then the other set of goggles are sized to fit over his helmet. So when you put his helmet on, you can put the goggles on and get that classic General Hawk look. That's the only thing I can think that they have 2 sets of goggles for him. And then he has 2 pistols, and it looks like he can actually holster both of those pistols now that I look at him. He has the one up here in the chest holster, and then he has one down here on his hip. Sling the grenade launcher over his shoulder, carry the shotgun, and he's ready to rock. That is all that we had for the standard figure releases. And all of those went up for pre-order after PulseCon. They went up for pre-order at 4 o'clock for Hasbro Pulse members, Pulse Premium members, and then they went up for sale at 5 o'clock for everybody else. Now, in addition to all of those standard figures, all of those figures are worth the $24.99 price point, the $25 price point. In addition to those, we also have this, and we all knew this was coming. We've seen it since San Diego Comic-Con again. The G.I. Joe Classified series, Crimson Strike Team Baroness, Tomax, and Xamot. This 3-pack of figures. Now, I kind of get why people were excited about this. I kind of get where people are coming from with this. I was never a big fan of the whole Crimson Legion thing. I liked Tomax and Xamot the way they were presented in the blues, and I liked they were just the Crimson Twins that led the Crimson Guardsmen. I wasn't real big on this whole Crimson Legion thing, but I understand that a lot of people are really into that, so this is a really cool 3-pack for them. I am getting it, obviously. And there's one thing that really intrigues me about this whole 3-pack, and that's the Baroness. that at first look, the Baroness's body, the sculpt, all looks the same. But she has different face portraits. She has different hair, so that like she can have some that's down, some that's blowing in the wind. The head doesn't change. It looks like just the face plates change. And then she has double jointed elbows. So she has new arms. It looks like everything else is the same, from like shoulders to feet. Everything is the same, but she has those double jointed arms. And that's really intriguing to me, because if there was one complaint I have about the Baroness figure that came with the coil and then the retro card, is that those single jointed elbows don't even really come up to 90. And like none of her weapons she can really hold, and she just looks awkward. She's needed these double jointed elbows, and I'm really happy about that. And I'm going to tell you what, that if this can move the arms the way that I think it can, and the way that we're seeing in these photos, we need 2 more versions of this Baroness. We need one in black and we need one in blue, like my Baroness statue back there. Probably can't see it because it's too dark, but we need one of her in black and we need one of her in blue. And I absolutely love that they like did that candy red for her armor to give like the metal like a really good shine. That's really cool. Like I said, there's new face portraits. Not exactly sure what this is with that gold mask on. All of the accessories for these 3 figures are gold. And that is what it is. I'm not really excited about that. I would rather they were just black. I don't like the gold accessories. Tomax and Xamot, from what I can see, are basically exactly the same as the Crimson Twins that were released a couple years ago. They just have different coloring on them. They come in this 3-pack. They all line up in it. This is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, a PulseCon exclusive. It's going for $89.99, $90 for this 3-pack. And amazingly enough, time of recording, this is Friday evening, roughly 8:30. It's not sold out yet. It's still available on Hasbro Pulse. Now, Ripper, Buzzer, and General Hawk are sold out on Hasbro Pulse as well. Well, I'm sorry, those 3 are sold out on Hasbro Pulse. Shockwave and Helix still have figures available, but even the ones that are sold out on Pulse, Ripper, Buzzer, and Hawk, they're still available on places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, and Amazon. So even if you go to Pulse and you see them sold out, fret not, there's still plenty of places to go get them. Now, however, that 3-pack, once that 3-pack sells out, I think that's going to be it. I'm actually honestly surprised that there wasn't a second wave of Chuckles with this, because if I remember correctly, last year Mindbender was the SDCC exclusive, and that release kind of, well, it didn't go off very well. But then when PulseCon came around, I thought they released a second wave of Mindbender. I really thought the same thing was going to happen with Chuckles. I'm surprised that it didn't. I'm also very upset that we didn't get a second release of the Cobra Eels. But if we're not going to get a re-release of the Amazon exclusive Cobra Eels, we may be able to get our hands on the retro carded Cobra Eels when they come out and army build that way. Like I said, I don't know what the difference is. We'll have to wait and see. If the retro ones are just like a dull gray and they're not that shiny plastic, like that shiny wetsuit looking plastic that was part of the Amazon ones, I'm going to be a little disappointed about that, but it is what it is. We'll still be able to get our eels. I got to get at least one of those Amazon exclusives, man. Like, I'm almost a completionist with this set, and so right now there's only 2 figures for the classified line that I want that I don't have, the Cobra Eel and the Regal Cobra Commander. Just gotta wait and see what happens. Now, that, I believe, is everything of interest for G.I. Joe Classified. One last thing that they did leave us with is that they said the HISS tanks are going to be shipping by the end of the year. So there's speculation that we should have them in hand by about December. I'm actually kind of surprised they're shipping already. It seems like we just got the Sky Striker, and it feels like the HISS tanks shouldn't be coming until next year. But hey, if we're getting them early, if we're getting them now, I'm not going to argue that point. I would love to get my hands on that HISS tank. So that is all we have for you today. I know today was kind of a long one, but we had a lot to wrap up. We had a lot to go over. probably don't even remember anything I said about Target at the beginning of this video. So until next time, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.